Today we are looking at barking heads, and today we are going to review it and we are going to say whether this is worth your time or not. Now, barking heads is a very popular dog food here in the UK, and it's one of those that has been around for a while. Now, they have a wide range of different recipes, and some of these are actually hilarious if you think about them. We have the Hounder hair necessities, we get the Hounder fat dog slim food chicken, and we get something like ball licking goodness dry food chicken. So we have a wide variety of different dog foods, different denominations and different price points. But what we want to know is this dog food any good, or is it just a pile of marketing? Let's dive straight into it. We are going to review 3 different recipes and tell you whether they are any good or not. The first one is the Little Paws Fuss Pot dry dog food, which is the duck variety, and it comes in 1.5 kilos and then a bigger size. Now, the composition is duck 50%, out of which 27% is freshly prepared free run duck. That's very good. We love to see the first 3 ingredients coming from meat sources and from animals. We then get into the 19% dry duck, 2% duck fat and 2% duck gravy. No problem at all. In terms of carbohydrates, we get 24% sweet potato, 12% peas, and then an undisclosed amount of potato and all the botanicals. So it is very good that they add 50% duck, but I am not so convinced that the other 50% need to come from sweet potato, peas and potato. Those percentages are a bit pricey in my opinion. 24%, 12% and then potato, that is quite a high proportion of the recipe being just carbohydrates. The next one is the Hounder ball licking goodness dry dog food, and this is the lamb variety, and the lamb variety contains 50% lamb, which is pretty good, 34% freshly prepared grass-fed lamb, 14% dried lamb, 2% lamb gravy, and then we get into the filler territory. We get rice, which is 26%, oats, peas and your salmon oils and your minerals. Now, I do have a very big bone to pick with rice, and I will tell you why. Because anytime you cook rice, that rice is going to expand. So here they say that 26% is rice, but that's before you put it into the blender and you cook it. Once you cook it, that rice is going to expand. So it is very likely that the amount of rice is at least double. And then we get into oats and peas, which is 12%. So that is a lot of high glycemic carbohydrates that I don't like to see. Rice is not biologically appropriate for your dog. You only have to look at your dog's teeth and you will see that they cannot chew rice. They shouldn't be having rice. It spikes insulin levels, it's not biologically appropriate, and they cannot digest it very well. So I would not feed my dog any rice whatsoever. Plus, it would get absolutely everywhere. Just a bit of common sense. The last recipe we are going to look at is the dry dog food chicken, and this is again the Hounder ball licking, and this will set you back about £65 here in the UK in Pets at Home actually. So the composition, again, we start with 50% chicken, 31% is freshly prepared free run chicken, which is very good, you know, cage hens, or do we want free range eggs? We like free range eggs. I want my chickens to be running around eating worms and whatever instead of the chicken being caged. This is the same thing. Freshly prepared free run chicken is very good. We then get into the 14% dry chicken, 2.5% chicken gravy and 2.5% chicken fat. We then get into, again, the rice, oats and peas. Rice 26%, oats in undisclosed amount, and peas 10%. What do we think about Barking Heads, and what is the verdict? The verdict is it's too expensive for what it is. It's a mass market, very recognizable brand. The actual bag of dog food is wonderful. It really does stand out. It has that sort of glossy, that playful marketing appeal to the food. So it is really nice. It looks wonderful on the shelf. However, we do see that £65 for 26% rice, oats and 10% peas. So it's up to 50% is rice, peas and oats, or sweet potato, peas and oats, and then all the seaweeds and carrots and whatever. So over £30 is the price we are paying for rice and sweet potato, oats and the filler. So the question becomes, how much should you pay for all these fillers? Because we see that the first 2 to 3 ingredients are pretty good. The first ingredient is chicken, the first ingredient is lamb, the first ingredient will be the first ingredient, and that will come from an animal, and that's lovely. The problem becomes with the oat, with the rice, with the sweet potato. Would you pay £30 for rice? Would you pay £30 for sweet potato? I do not think so. It's a 50-50 bag of dog food, which is great, but the price point should be a lot lower. And is £65 without the SRP. These would retail for about £75 here in the UK, and £75 is very, very pricey in my opinion, or £70 depending which recipe you go for. Those tend to be quite pushing premium territory, and this food is not premium. This food is okay. This food is acceptable. This kibble will be better than some of the other recipes which contain a lot of wheat, barley, corn and meat and animal derivatives, those kinds of foods, but it isn't a premium food. It's nowhere near being a premium food because of the amount of carbohydrate. The main thing you need to remember is that what costs money is the meat that goes into the recipe, not the carbohydrates by and large. Carbohydrates and vegetables will always be cheaper than meat, and so it is incumbent upon you to read the ingredients and to do your own research whenever it comes to dog food, because the dog food machine and all these manufacturers are telling you all the time what you want to hear, whether that's sensitive stomach or hair loss or hairball or whatever the case might be, whether your dog has diabetes or whether your dog has pancreatitis. The most important thing for you to understand is the ingredients list really does matter, and it's arguably the only thing that matters whenever it comes to dog food. How those ingredients are sourced, where they come from, the proportion of each ingredient and the quality of each ingredient is really what matters in dog food. And so Barking Heads is not an exception here. And so if you are looking at a very good food and you might not know what to look out for, I highly recommend you watch this video next.